Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. I'm so delighted to be joined by a friend of our filmmaking family in Boise with his really good movie, Blackwater. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at a clip.
Hi, I'm Randy. Are you going to be joining the group tonight?
Hey, is this the place?
Which is?
I don't know, wellness class, wellness people, whatever it's called.
Wellness people, yeah, that's us.
Look, the court gave me this paper, and I just need to find the guy who runs the whole kumbaya shit, so.
Okay, yeah, after.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this film to us. Pleasure to be with you right now. For those that haven't seen Blackwater, tell us a brief synopsis.
So Blackwater follows a Native American country singer who is washed up, finally hits rock bottom and returns back to her home reservation in Arizona. And even back home with no place to go, she ends up letting her alcoholism catch up with her after 10 years and is arrested and forced to go to counseling for her disease or face 3 years in prison. And it's at this point she finds herself dealing with not only her emotional struggle and problem, but with the problems of the others who are also in the group, who are these very much, they have all their own unique limitations as well. So it's very much a story filled with a lot of levity and also a lot of hard-hitting subjects.
Yeah, well, I want to get into your cast. I'm obsessed with your cast. They're all such great performances, but I want to just ask you, where did the inspiration come for you in turning this story into a film?
Right. So, it actually came when I was in, the last couple of semesters of getting my master's in writing. I was taking a couple courses in transmedia, which is just a fancy way of saying web media. And I was actually slated to do something completely different. I had a script and a synopsis and everything that wasn't Blackwater. Went to a film festival in Northern California in between semesters, and my brother ended up calling. My brother at the time was suffering from cirrhosis of the liver due to alcoholism. He called me up and let me know he was opting for hospice care, which was meaning that he didn't want no more treatment. He wanted to just go peacefully. And, as you can imagine, it stunned all of us in the family. My brother is a very jolly, kind soul, very much a peaceful man, and he just let depression sort of get the best of him. So he went peacefully at home, and I went back to school, just sort of trying to repair, and cope with the pain. And I myself grew up from age 14 till I was 32 with drug dependency. I'm 42 now, and I really just could not understand why he just wanted to let go. So the more I thought about that, the more I thought about me writing and doing something that I know about, and that something that could help me heal from his passing. And lo and behold, I cranked out Blackwater in like a matter of a couple of weeks, and just knew it was, without a doubt, that it was something I wanted to do.
Oh man, I mean, listen, thank you, for sharing that, but also thank you for you and your drive and your heart and your care for your family, and turn this into a film, and the things you've had to go through. It's not easy at all, and I'm just so glad that that you have such amazing talent, and that you you know, turn some of the darkest times into, you know, some light of artistic creation, and there's legacy and your families within this whole context of what you know, created. And, you know, I was going to say, I mean, you know, thank you for shedding a light on this subject. Because you know, we've seen many films, and I'm sure you have as well, on this subject. And, you know, sometimes I feel like it's so kind of commercially put together. There's no kind of rawness to real people going through real situations. It's all kind of Hollywoodized. And I just felt like I was in this circle with them, you know, and it felt hard to be in this circle with them, but you gave us that raw. Was that kind of something that, knowing what you kind of experienced in, you know, in your close vicinity, that was important for you to kind of showcase in the film?
Yeah, you know, going into it, you know, I mean, I knew it was going to be a really tough and very, you know, just really hard, tough subjects to tackle. So I went into it knowing that I wanted there to be a lot of levity too, as well. But that being said, you know, my family, you know, I have a very big family, lots of brothers and cousins, and, you know, growing up on the reservation, everybody was always together. And regardless of our plights, you know, we would always find the humor in everything, you know. And I think it might be, you know, it was a way of growing up and dealing with tough subjects. That being said, I also was able to draw on, you know, many of the times that, you know, I went to rehab myself, and how tough that is, just taking those very first baby steps, you know. You're so emotionally fragile and compromised and just on sheer defense. And so it was very easy to relive that, you know, through Birdie, who's the main character.
Yeah. Speaking of which, though, actually, like, your humor that you capture, even in these situations, was brilliant. Like, so good. Like, it was just, these characters were amazing. Now, obviously, I want to talk about, you know, your lead character. I thought she was just, I could take my eyes off her. I was mesmerized by everything she gave us from her soul. It was there, you know? And then you had these brilliant characters that she had to meet. And you knew she really didn't want to be around these people, you know, like, she did not want to be there. And you felt all her energies. Tell us about the casting process, because my goodness, they all just gave you something special.
Oh yeah, the actually that was probably the toughest part, was the casting. I knew without a doubt, I wanted an all Indigenous cast,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's a very certain importance, you know, for that, me personally, but also just for the setting and the story itself. But you know, I wanted each and every character to be, you know, as equally as important to one another, and as strong. And we were casting from, you know, for over 4 months for a 1-day shoot, and just kept hitting and missing. Schedules kept changing, dates kept dropping, and then when those things happen, actors' schedules, you know, actors begin to fall off, and then you have to recast again. And we were doing that all the way till 2 days right before shooting. And but you know, Favor was really honest, because we ended up getting some very reputable veterans like Branscombe Richmond. Does a lot of, he's been in the industry for over 47 years. Gary Farmer is another very known in the Indigenous community, with, you know, all the roles he's played. And then these just very talented other native actors from, you know, Arizona and right here in LA, who just all brought their A game. And I'll tell you one thing, being on that set was just so, like, special, because you felt it in the air. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. But
Yes.
it felt like, you know, our own little, you know, being native, it felt like, we have our own little sandbox to play in just for today. And that's exactly what we did. We had such a great time. But yeah, the casting was a real up and down kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you know, well done you for, you know, because I mean, there's so much challenges that come from, you know, creating independent cinema. And I'm so glad you kind of stuck through and made it. And let's just go back to that point, because I mean, goodness me, I mean, I'm sure just to be in an environment where everyone's got a good sense and understanding for each other, and like you described it, being in your sandbox. I mean, you know, I wish that upon you every day where life feels like that, but that must have felt magical to have all these talented people that you're working with. You know, you're all coming from a very understanding viewpoint of each other. That must have felt a magical experience for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's first of all, it's just so hard, even in Hollywood, to do anything with a native narrative. Um, you know, from casting to writing, there's just maybe a handful of people out there who can do it, who want to do it, who want to put money towards it, who even want to watch it. And so when, you know, when we try to, at least when I wanted to execute something like this, it was a lot of hard work, man. It was a lot of digging and searching and just looking and looking and looking. I mean, you're looking for, I mean, would not in any way want to, you know, say that my culture is a rare commodity, but it's just really tough to find that kind of talent in these days. And when you do, you want to give it the best fighting chance it has, and that I think was on the front of my mind. You know, moving through it all was making it the best possible, you know, experience and product that I can give it. You know, so it has a chance.
Well, I love how you direct this piece, and when you've got some like very quick moments of dialogue, and you've got to switch to, you know, certain viewpoints or emotions, like, you know, and it's not easy actually articulating that kind of circle conversation as it looks, you know, and I'm very aware of that. And I love how you did direct it. I'm just curious from your perspective as a director, you know, how do you work with your actors? Are you kind of like quite hands-on? Do you let people play? Like, what's your process?
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, I do try to do all my work in the casting. You know, it just takes so much work off of me on the day of shooting. And you know, the people that I know, they're gonna know their lines. I know what they're gonna do from past work, and they have a great spirit, positive attitude. And then it's like after that, you know, you go on set and you want them to try new things. You want them to take it to that level and get in those shoes and then that clothes, and you want that character just to fully, because it's exciting, you know, to see them do that. And it's exciting, you know, I let the tables turn. I'm taking notes from them, and they're bringing it, you know, all together. So in many ways, it's very I mean, it's very lax for me. I don't have to really do anything, but except make a little, you know, tweaks here and there. But yeah, so most of it's in the casting for my process.
Well, that's good, because that means that when it comes to being on set, you know, you feel like ready to go, which is, you know, such an important thing in, you know, in terms of production. Um, I'm curious to know from the journey that you've gone on to make this film, that this wasn't necessarily part of what you were planning to initially make. Um, just to your wider audience, like, what would you like people to take from your film? Like, what elements were you kind of looking for people to take from your film? I mean, I know I felt a lot, but I'm just curious from your perspective.
Oh, you know, one thing I always think about is just breaking stereotypes. You know, it's easy to fall back on 100 years of filmmaking, which is already out there, that has nothing to do with, I mean, that has everything to do with depicting Native Americans with elk skin and feathers. And, you know, just a lot of centuries of cultural damage just within the past few decades are just barely getting any kind of, you know, healing, you know, as a people. And really, I really just wanted to convey, you know, these people are people with the same pains and problems that are relatable as me and you, as everybody else, you know. You know, I wanted to, like one thing in my production design, I did not want one, you know, something that was like, I didn't want nothing stereotypical about Native America in this at all. I wanted it to be raw, I wanted it to be real, I wanted it to be whatever was on those characters' heart at that time to be conveyed. And that was number one.
Well, you nailed it, you know, and I'm just so glad. You know, I really do enjoy watching, you know, your vision of filmmaking, and you know, it is such a pleasure to have you. I mean, especially as you know, at New Filmmakers, we're monthly, we're crazy, we're every single month. But it was extra special. Is it nice to be part of a program that does celebrate talented, amazing people? You know, in our Indigenous Cinema program, you know, was that nicely part of the New Filmmakers experience this month with that?
Oh, yes. I mean, these platforms, New Filmmakers LA, and this whole month that they devote for Indigenous storytelling, I can't even tell you how important. It's so important. So, you know, it gives us our little time to showcase, you know, authentic voices and, you know, more. This festival is very much paving the way in that regard. And this is one of the very earlier ones. I remember being a part of New Filmmakers a couple of years ago, and now they're starting to slowly spring up elsewhere too. But it's extremely important that, you know, there's a platform like this for us storytellers.
We appreciate, but you brought up a very important point. You know, I mean, historically and presently, this is, like you say, it's been destroyed in understanding what people have gone through in your community, and you know, and we need to keep everlastingly make sure we continually bring more awareness. And at the same time, I'm so glad that you were able to make a film with, like you said, you didn't have to like, you wanted just to show the human rawness of what a person is going through. And, you know, I felt for all those individual people just there. I wanted to give everybody a hug. I know the hug thing, I'm a big hugger and I wanted to hug everybody. I would have got in there and hugged too, you know, but just how easily your life can just end up in a certain different direction, you know, and you know, you like, that's not how life started for you, you know, and support each other. And you know, alcoholism is a real thing, you know, it's a real thing, it's an illness, you know. And I love that you brought awareness to that, because you know, just some people just don't understand it or haven't got the willingness to understand it. And I think from that perspective too, I was so proud that you made a film that showcased that, the human beings behind just the struggle, you know. And I know this is very tough for you as well. So I'm just thankful that you made this, and you know, you're such a great filmmaker. I really do enjoy your work. You know, what is next for you? What's coming next? What's next in the brain? What's happening?
Well, I'm doing a feature. I'm also still, this is still very much alive. We're, it's actually garnering a lot of attention. We're got a whole development package going on with this, just with this little short. You know, it's blowing up into a whole season, and now there's a feature on the table, and you know, we're just working nonstop. At least I'm working nonstop
Yeah.
to, and you know, when this whole COVID fog clears up, you know, is going to most certainly just move forward. And on the side, I'm also taking an affinity towards a lot of horror filmmaking as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff going on.
I love it. I love it. And I genuinely mean this. So I get excited about film when I, you know, knowing your vision and knowing you're out there, you know, continually trying to break down doors and barriers, you know, and highlighting it. Just, it's so exciting. So I'm very grateful for you for making film. I just want to finalize, and maybe this is to a specific audience or something that you go by, but is there any kind of advice that you could share with our filmmaking audience that is important to you or helps you on your journey as a filmmaker?
Oh, yeah, just perseverance. just perseverance, hard work, focus, just, you know, see where you want to be and execute, you know, don't, I mean, this is actually the perfect time, you know, if there's a good thing about this year, it's to be able to reflect and focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get you can't get to where you want to be without putting in all the hard work, and so aim high in that regard.
Well, listen, thank you very much. I can't wait to see you in person for your next film, hopefully. But in the meantime, you know, thanks for bringing Blackwater to us, and thank you to all your cast and crew, because, you know, I know it's a team effort and a great job. So thank you very much, Boise.
Oh, thank you guys so much, man. New Filmmakers LA, you guys rock.
We try. Thank you.